Hi, it's Chris Castaldo from Wall Street Buy, Sell, Hold. I'm here with Todd Zelek, the CEO of Cavitation Technologies at the Undiscovered Equities Conference. Welcome to the conference.
Thanks, Chris.
Todd, listen, I know a little bit about your company, Cavitation Technologies.
Right.
You've got an amazing technology. Why don't you tell some folks at home that aren't here today who Cavitation is and what you do?
Okay, Cavitation is a technology company that has 2 patents and 8 patents pending. We have a device that's patented that accelerates chemical reactions. So in liquid processing applications where you're processing liquid, we can do it better than anyone else.
Okay, let me try to help put this into layman's terms for the folks at home watching this. All right, you're into oil refining or edible food refining,
Right.
such as olive oil, peanut oil, canola oil, soybean oil.
There you go.
Walk us through the refining process, taking
Okay.
this from the grape or the seed or the,
Right.
whatever it is and getting it into the bottle. How does that work?
Okay, basically what happens is that you take a grape or a seed or whatever and you crush it. When
Okay.
you crush it, you get the oil out of it.
Okay.
But
It's
in
like,
the oil,
it's like Lucy when she stepped on the
yeah,
grapes?
no, exactly. So you've got the oil, but you got stuff in the oil.
Okay.
So you have to remove that stuff. So you have neutral oil with nothing in it. The way you do it for soybean oil is that you add acid, and the acid binds to that stuff that's in the oil.
Okay.
And then you neutralize the acid by putting caustic in. So what happens is you put the oil with the stuff in it, with acid, you run it through our device, you add the caustic to neutralize it, and it's run through the device. Then the stuff binds to the acid. Then you put it in a centrifuge, you spin it around like a colander,
Okay.
and the neutral oil goes out, and the stuff stays behind.
Impurities.
Impurities stay behind. What's interesting is because our device is so efficient, you can reduce the amount of acid by 90% and the amount of caustic by over 40%. So we're a green technology because you have less acid and less caustic that goes in the environment ultimately, and effluents, et cetera. But also you save a ton of money at a facility because you use less oil and caustic, or less acid and caustic. And because you also use less acid, you have less good oil that kind of leaves, so it stays in.
So your yields are improving.
Our yields are improved. So you have acid savings, caustic savings, and yield improvement.
Okay. How was it traditionally done? If you have an oil refinery, an
Right.
edible oil, like
Right.
a soybean oil refinery,
Right.
and I understand one of your customers is processing 9,000 tons a day.
Right?
If they're processing 9,000 tons a day in the old system,
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of oil. I mean, do they have to put this in big vats and heat it up and
Sure.
almost like a beer
Sure.
vat?
Yeah. What's beautiful is our system just bolts on to the current system. So instead of putting in a static mixer to mix the acid and neutralize and put it in the centrifuge, you put it through our system. And so you can put a valve here and a valve here, stick our system in, turn the valve, it'll run through our system rather than the traditional system, and then go into the centrifuge. And so for a refiner, it's very easy to add our system as part of the refining process. And if you're nervous that it's not working, it's easy to turn it off.
Okay.
And so, this is a commodity business. These owners of these facilities and the plant managers can't go down. Okay, so we allow them to make a lot more money. Our system's more efficient, but we also give them the stopgap. If you want to go back to the old way, you shut this off and on. We put it in Maryland at Purdue Agribusiness, which is a big soybean refiner in the United States. And if you ask the plant manager, he'll tell you it's the best single investment they've made in the facility in the last 10 years.
Okay, and how many tons are they refining a day at
They're
Purdue?
450 metric tons per day.
450 metric tons per day.
Right.
All right. And how much are you saving them per metric ton?
I don't know if I can do that, but I can tell you that they're probably saving somewhere between $50,000 and $75,000 a month at their facility.
Okay.
Okay,
And
multiply that by 12, they're saving somewhere between $750,000 and $1 million a year.
so they've been refining the same edible oils
Right.
using the same technology for
Right.
how many years?
Forever.
Okay, so you have this new technology that
Right.
reduces the use of caustic soda, citric acid,
Or,
okay,
or phosphoric acid.
or phosphoric acid.
Yep.
Okay, so which are expensive.
Right.
So you can reduce that. You can increase the yields. All right.
Correct.
Now, the key thing is getting into the market. I know there are 5,000 or 6,000 oil refineries,
Right.
and this is edible fuel. This is not motor oil.
Correct.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet, but we have technology that we think could be applicable
Okay,
to that market.
but let's
as
just
well.
talk about the edible oil, because
Right.
I know every time I go into my cupboard at home, I'm going to have some olive oil.
Right.
I'm going to have some, cooking oil. All right, and it's always going to be there. I'm not going to stock up and have 5 gallons this week, but I'm always going to have some type of oils.
But don't forget, it's in food as well. So
Right.
it's it's in things like
McDonald's
mayonnaise.
frying
Yeah, everything,
oil, soy. Oh, okay.
or in things you eat.
Sure, sure. So that business is relatively,
Growing at about 5% a year.
Okay,
and it's
so
a huge business
huge
throughout
business.
the world.
Now, how many tons of oil, or millions of tons of oil, are refined per year?
Well, I think in soybean oil it's about 40 million tons per year. Rapeseed is probably 65, so it's probably total is 150 million kind of.
Okay, so you have this great new technology that you can refine oil. You can do it quicker, better, faster, improve the yields.
Without changing what you're currently doing, but just bolting in our process.
Okay, which it all sounds great.
Right.
Okay, but you to go into a plant manager that has been running an operation for 50 years,
Right.
good luck.
Right.
All right. You have a partner, I understand, Desmet Balestra, which is
Correct.
kind of a funny name and people can't understand it. but
Right,
it's
they're out of Belgium.
Desmet Balestra.
Right.
All right. D-E-S-M-E-T, Balestra, B-A-L-L-E-S-T-R-A.
Correct.
Desmet Balestra. I had to have that spelled out for me a few times before I actually got it.
Are you smarter than the 5th grader? Go ahead.
Okay. Tell us about your relationship with Desmet Balestra.
It's really interesting. And, our business model, we've got 7 or 8 people in the company. We've got the technology. And our business model is to joint venture with other parties. And we spent the last 2 years with Desmet Balestra that culminated about a year ago in signing an exclusive licensing agreement. We went into joint testing in their facility in Belgium. Okay? So they've run our system for almost 2 years now, and they're very comfortable with it. They're committed from a marketing and sales perspective and an R&D perspective. They've probably spent over $1 million already in the company. They've recently got a grant from the Flemish Society for another $1 million of R&D in the next 3 years that they're going to focus on our device. So as a partner goes, they help us in the marketing. They do all the marketing. Remember, they've got relationships with all the major refiners out there. So we don't have to pick up the phone and call them. They've been dealing with them for 80 years, okay? So that's what's terrific about it. We pay them a sharing when we sell our system. But for them, it's terrific because, number one, there's ancillary equipment besides our reactor. There are pumps, valves, devices, et cetera. And so they make money on selling that as well as our reactor. But more importantly, as this thing goes out, it's a great new business tool for them because they can say, look, we have exclusive licensing for this this product that can save you real money. So for
you have no competition.
Well, the competition is the current.
The current.
The current. And there's things called enzymes that people are looking at as well, but they're much more expensive, and it's not a device. It's actually living things that help increase oil yields. But for what we're doing, we really don't have competition out there.
Okay, and about Desmet Balestra again, they actually manufacture processing plants, refining plants? Is that what they do?
They actually go in and engineer them.
They engineer them.
So if you wanted to start a soybean oil refinery, you call them up and say, can you help us do that? So they figure out what the right centrifuge is, what the right piping is, what the right gauges are, et cetera, and provide the designs for you. And that's their business. Okay. And then it's fixing things, if things break or optimizing, et cetera.
And they're the biggest, and they've done this with what, 5,500, 5,600 oil refineries?
Yes, throughout the world.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So by them designing, almost all of the edible oil refineries, they're your partner.
They're our partners.
So they could go back in and knock on the door and say, hey, it's Desmet. We designed your facility.
Right.
We have a new technology that can save you money, increase yields, and increase profits.
Or they can go to the competitor's site and say, we didn't design your system, but we got the best new mousetrap. And oh, by the way, there hasn't been new technology in this industry for the last 50 years.
Okay. And they're a multi-billion-dollar company?
A multi-billion-dollar company. They're owned by Barclays Capital. They were formerly a private company, got sold. And what's great is we're really high margin for them. So right from the top all the way through the organization, we're a top priority for them.
And what's your financial arrangement? What gives them, what makes me sell or anybody sell is compensation? What's their compensation? What makes them?
We pay them 15% of whatever we make in our license agreement.
Okay, and you, on your licensing, do you get paid just to sell the unit? Do you get paid based on a savings for processing? How
Well,
does that work?
ultimately, we'd like to get to a savings model. Ultimately, I'd like to get to a razor blade model as well. I think we'll get there. You know, we're at the early stage. We have, you know, 2 installations in place. We've got 2 more that we've recently announced that we're doing. But once we get 5, 10, 15 of these out there with lots of data, because Desmet, by the way, is guaranteeing the performance of our system. And as they get more comfortable, as there's more facilities out there, we'll be able to raise our prices, we hope.
Okay, about Purdue, if they're saving $75,000 per month by using your system,
Right.
what did it cost them to get started?
Our device, we license, and the way we're licensing it right now is based upon kind of an 18 to 24 month payback for our device. So if we save you $75,000 a month, which is say $1 million a year, it would cost somebody, and I'm making these numbers up, parameters, it'd cost somebody $1.5 million to $2 million for our system.
Okay, so if I have, if you're saving me $100,000 a month, I assume I might need more than 1 reactor. I might need 5 or 10 reactors in my plant.
No, we're not necessarily. We have different size reactors depending upon the flow rates.
All right, so it's almost based on it's almost based on a savings.
Correct.
Because if you can save me $10,000 a month, you can't charge me $100,000 a month.
Right.
Okay, so this whole ball of wax, all right, oil's oil. I am assuming if you can.
Oil's oil, but we actually, you know, we've done lots of testing. Desmet's done lots of testing. We provide really good quality oil with great shelf life.
So I mean, if you can process olive oil and peanut oil and soybean oil, can you process crude oil?
You know, we've filed a patent for it. We've got a lot more R&D to work on. We've talked to potential partners to do additional R&D, but you know, I come from the camp that you can't boil the ocean. We have a huge opportunity in vegetable oil. But, you know, long term, we clearly will look at some other applications for our technology.
Okay, what's the total size of the edible oil market?
For our device, I think the size of the vegetable oil market is somewhere between $100 and $500 million.
Okay, and potentially that's your revenue potential?
For just this one vertical market.
Just the one vertical, not including all the others.
But again, we're doing a lot of research and development into other aspects of vegetable oil refining. When I explained earlier how a refinery worked,
right.
There's other aspects that we can apply to besides just that neutralization phase. There's a degumming phase and there's a deodorization phase. And as Matt likes to say, there's physical refining, there's chemical refining. Where we'd like to go with CTI is mechanical refining, using our device to really cut a lot of the inputs and do it on a mechanical basis.
Todd, in my opinion, management is the most important part of a company. I mean, you see a lot of wealthy people hand their business to their children and they run into the ground.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background before you came to see that?
And I was in the investment banking business for over 20 years. I worked for firms such as Lehman Brothers, Salomon Brothers. I was a senior person in those organizations, and I retired in 2001, fortunately.
So you had a chance to retire.
I had a chance to retire and kind of do some other things. I've bought and sold companies over the last 10 years or so. But I was looking for a unique situation, and this really is a unique situation. So I look at it as a great opportunity. You know, a lot of these bulletin board companies don't have professional managers. You know, I was on Wall Street for 20 years. I went to Cornell undergrad. I was an MIT grad school person. I've looked at it. I've done my due diligence, and I'm excited about the opportunity.
Okay. As far as your business, some of the big guys out there, you know, Archer Daniels Midland, would they be a potential competitor or a potential suitor? Would they come in maybe and swoop you up one day?
No, I really don't think so. I think, you know, they're potential customers, and obviously they're large. And once we prove to them what our devices can do, hopefully they could put it in multiple systems. So it's one call to the headquarters and then putting in a number of their different facilities. But, you know, other technology companies might be potential suitors for us, more so than the industry. Now, on the other hand, if we can provide real savings, there's real benefits to these companies to keep us out of the other ones. And what I've learned is some of the companies have actually said in the past, we like the technology, we'll take it as long as we can have an exclusive. For 5 years. So we'll see if that happens. Yeah, I mean, that'd be all good news for us.
Okay, well, I guess it all comes down to dollars and cents.
You got it.
Great, thanks. Okay, and if someone wants to find your company, where do they find you on the web?
CTINanotech.com.
Okay, and if someone wants to invest in your stock, where can they find you and what
Our
exchange?
symbol is CVAT, C-V-A-T.
And they're located on the pink sheets, the bulletin boards?
Bulletin board.
Okay, Todd, any last word before we wrap it up?
No, it's just, it's exciting. I've been with the company about 3 months. I was looking for a great opportunity, and this clearly is a great opportunity. we've got technology, we got a great business model, and we can export it throughout the world. So as a U.S. company, I'm pretty proud of it.